Good evening. Here we are in Indianapolis, Indiana, the crossroads of the AUDL, to see the home AlleyCats take on the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds at Roncalli High School Stadium. If you're wildlife lovers, you're sure to want to watch all the way through this one to see which of these fearsome predators come out on top of this matchup. Joining me today are Blake Vanderbush and the regular production crew of T. Shanahan and cameramen Caleb Hills and Nevin Marketan. All right, Blake, let's talk about the magnitude of this game for both of these teams. Big playoff implications, as this will give the winner a big advantage in securing second place in the Midwest Division, with Minnesota Wild in the mix as well. Now, what do you think about the mindset with these two teams coming in here?
Both teams are looking to win. They know if they win this game, they will be in the playoffs. There's still some left to be decided about whether they'll be second or third, but if they win this game, they know they'll win. For the AlleyCats, that's especially important because the last game of the year is against a team that they've never beaten before, Madison. So they don't want to put anything to chance on that one game. So they're really honing in on this one. They've beaten this team twice, and they're probably feeling like we're the favorites in this game. We want to win.
Right. They've already secured the season series with these guys, but that really doesn't mean a ton. You know, it's nice to have a 2-1 advantage, but I'm sure these Cats are hungry to close out the series.
Yeah, and this Pittsburgh lineup has been different each game, and there's going to be a few different guys tonight. So the AlleyCats have been pretty consistent throughout the year, much more consistent than the other rosters. So you never know what you're going to get with Pittsburgh. So the 45 different players have played a game for the Thunderbirds this year, and only 30 for the Cats. So the Cats have definitely been more consistent, and I think you see that in these games when they're having less turnovers because they're more familiar with where guys are going and what the tendencies are.
Yeah, and you can argue that through the years, as some of these Cats have been playing together for so long, and versus Pittsburgh year in, year out, different story for them. But with the Cats, with their core of Keenan Plew, of Cameron Brock, etc., you can go on. They are so familiar with each other. They've really committed themselves to this program, and I think it shows because of that continuity. You look at last week's game where they were down early on, and they were able to come back. I was actually able to talk to Gravy Payne earlier, and we had a short interview, and he gave us some good thoughts on tonight's matchup. Good evening. Here we are with head coach Jared Payne of the Indianapolis AlleyCats, and getting ready for our big matchup with the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds with a lot of playoff implications. It's going to be a very, very important game for both teams who are fighting for that second playoff spot. And so there's a lot of things happening. Both teams are ready to play. Coach, how was your team's mindset coming in with this, knowing that they came off a huge win at Pittsburgh last week with being on a 6-1 run? How have you guys been able to maintain this momentum, and how do you expect to continue that?
Yeah, I think we've been excited, looking forward to this game ever since the last one ended last Sunday against Pitt, knowing we have back-to-back matchups against them, and knowing that this is an important win, to validate that we're a better team than Pittsburgh this year, and of course we want to make the playoffs and earn that with the victory tonight.
Right, and let's talk briefly about Pittsburgh's mentality. They're going to be hungry. They realize they have to get this win. This is a must-win for them to control their own destiny and to get that second spot for themselves in the playoffs. You could kind of see it last night's game against Detroit when they went in and throttled them, 31-13. And now they're going to come in and try to continue that energy and try to steal one more away from you.
Yeah, and I think just comparing to last week again, that was competitive throughout. It felt like one of the best or most competitive games we've had all year. So I would expect that atmosphere to even intensify today, knowing that they're a road team. They need this win really bad, as well as we do. So, I expect a very competitive 4 quarters or more tonight.
Right. And it looks like the matchups between these two teams kind of developing into a pretty good rivalry. You've gotten the best of them this year. You've beaten them 2 times. You're one of the only 2 teams in the division to beat them, and you know that can't sit well with them. So do you think they're going to try anything different this tonight? I know they tried to switch things around from last weekend from your previous matchup. Do you expect anything different from them tonight?
I mean, probably somewhat. I think the more that you play each other, since they were new in our division last year, we had 2 losses, and so this will basically be our 5th matchup overall. So I think every game kind of does intensify that rivalry, especially when you're tight. So we know they have a few guys that we haven't seen yet this year on their roster, so I would expect that to look a little bit different, and then they probably do have adjustments from what they just saw last Sunday against us. So I would expect us to have to be aware of that and adjust tonight possibly as well.
Right, well said. Well, these teams are historically 2-2, so tonight is another tiebreaker of sorts, and we'll see who pulls it out. But more importantly, with going forward into the playoffs, that's what counts for both of them. So we'll see who can do it and who plays the best in these conditions here. And good luck to both teams. Good luck to you, Coach Payne.
Thank you.
And we are back here. Conditions look pretty good here, Blake. It's, I think, a good night to play Ultimate. Not a lot of wind. We had a threat of a little bit of showers earlier, but it looks like that's passed on.
Yeah, it's a cool night, about 70 degrees. I know last weekend was a scorcher in Pittsburgh. They had to deal with the heat. They had guys fanning water on them as they came off the field.
Fighting for shade.
Yeah, fighting for shade.
As it looked like.
Yeah, so tonight it doesn't look like that'll be as much of an issue. There's not much wind, so you'll see some creative throws. You'll see toppers. Everything in your arsenal will be available. And with these great throwers on both teams, you'll see them bring out some really good throws.
Yeah, for sure. Both these lineups, their handlers are pretty creative, like you said, with their throws. So we're sure to see some of that. So a big thing for me is to see if the Cats can continue their momentum. They're one of the hottest teams in the entire ADL right now, with Keenan Plew, the reigning AUDL player of the week, here in to see if he can keep that going as we start to hear the lineups for Pittsburgh here. But they're 6-1 in the last 7. You go back, the previous 2 losses from them were Chicago, and that was 3 games ago, and then the 2 games against Minnesota, they dropped by 1 each. So they've lost 3 games by a combined 4 points, and in the last 9 games. So you think about it, they could be 1 game behind Madison.
Yeah, and even the game against Madison, I know, was very close for most of the game. They've been really hot lately. The 6-1 in the last 7 has been huge for them. It's given them new life. They're right in there for the playoff picture, and they're hoping to get a win tonight to seal that playoff spot.
Well, they got to be excited too, because this is as late in the season that they've ever been this high in the standings, with a great chance to get a preferential matchup in the playoffs. This is big for them.
Yeah. I think they were disappointed about missing the playoffs last year, and they had some early season disappointments. The losses against Minnesota, that definitely hurt. And losing by 1 point twice, that was really big. They did not feel good about that. So the fact that they've been able to turn that around, have a really hot run here at the end of the year, and be in the playoff picture is huge for them.
All right, Blake. Well, the ingredients are on the table. Let's get them in the stew pot and cook up a good game for us. Here are your starting lineups, brought to you by BE Ultimate. Starting defense, number 2, Rick Gross. Number 7, Levi Jacobs. Number 12, Colin Ringwood. Number 20, Nick Hutton. Number 21, Peter Carlton. Number 24, Jake Fella. And finally, number 33, Dana Granholm. And now we have our Thunderbirds starting offense. Number 1, Max Shepard. Number 2, Chris Brennenborg. Number 3, Pat Earlis. Number 4, David Vatz. Number 7, Mark Fedorenko. Number 28, Ethan Beardsley. Number 59, Jack Slevin. Those were our starting lineups brought to you by BE Ultimate. Putting a different spin on Ultimate apparel by focusing on high-performance fabrics, quality workmanship, and rapid turnaround time. They're Ultimate players making Ultimate gear for the Ultimate community. Visit their website at beultimate.com. All right, Blake. Well, we got our lineup set, and we got our crowd fired up. Nice turnout tonight for the Cats. Glad that rain held off, and the Cats community here in Indianapolis is well aware of the implications. So I'm hoping to see a kind of fired up crowd.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was advertised all week as a huge game. A lot of people are excited about the chance that the AlleyCats have of possibly making the playoffs, and they know that this is probably the biggest game of the year. So it looks like a pretty good turnout. Can't see the whole stands from our vantage point, but I'm sure they'll be fired up, and as long as this rain holds off, it'll be a nice night for Ultimate.
Yeah, I believe I can just tell if I'm looking at it. It looks like one of the bigger ones, bigger home crowds here. And as we go into the national anthem. Okay, a beautiful rendition of our national anthem, made even more stirring with July 4th weekend coming here. I apologize to the viewers. Our wind machine wasn't working right on the flag there. We were trying to get it billowing, but there it is still in all its beauty. So here we go now. I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Health Zone Chiropractic. Enter the zone of peak performance and all-around great health. Disc-Store. Offering the best service and best price on Ultimate gear. Guaranteed. Friction Gloves. Helping your throws and catches in all conditions. Indiana Ultimate Foundation. Supporting Ultimate at all levels in the state of Indiana. BE Ultimate. Ultimate players making ultimate gear for the ultimate community. And most importantly, your Indianapolis AlleyCats. All right, Blake. Well, the fireworks are about to begin here, and I think these two teams this weekend, given that, there should be a lot of things blowing up on this field. Both teams like to huck it. Pittsburgh's a very tall team, a very athletic, quick downfield. They're good in the air, and Indy's defense has gotten quite a bit better in past years. So this is without a doubt going to be an up and down matchup, moving up and down the field quickly. Yeah,
the AlleyCats are coming out on defense, and you've got some guys that may not be as tall as the Pittsburgh offensive players, but they're probably more athletic. You got guys like Rick Gross and Nick Hutton that can go up and attack the disc, even if it's against a taller player. So they'll try to use their athleticism, even if they don't necessarily have that same height that Pittsburgh does.
Yeah, Cats have done very well being a quick, athletic team. Shorter, but maybe, like I said, a little quicker than some. They've had trouble against those bigger teams in the past. Not as much this year, but Chicago, for instance, certainly Madison. They're already 2-0 against the Thunderbirds this year, so they found a way to neutralize that threat. But expect a lot on their end from Beardsley, from Highsmith, and Fedorenko. Those guys are all pretty active downfield. So Hutton, as you see a lot from the AlleyCats, they like to roll that huck that pull out of bounds. Unfortunately, he didn't land it in, so they like to run that so they can set the double team.
Yeah, that was just a missed throw by Hutton. Trying to roll it out to get that double team, but instead they start in the center.
Regardless, they come out with the double team. Earless with Pittsburgh, you're going to see him a lot in that center spot.
Yep, a little bit of a junk from the AlleyCats where they're trying to work it to one sideline and get a double team set. And they're kind of playing man downfield.
Yeah, they pressure the handlers quite a bit. You'll often see 4 down in the box like that because they're very aggressive on those handlers. Swings it out. Earless again. Looking for a shot deep. And he nails it. That's Fedorenko.
Yeah, that's something you'll see from Pat Earls all night. As soon as he catches it, he's looking upfield. And if he has the opportunity, there's a man open, he's got a pretty good left-handed forehand that he's just going to fire right in there. No hesitation.
Big target downfield, Fedorenko. Currently on loan from the Red Army hockey team. I believe he plays some center wing there. But he speaks good English, so he fits in well here.
Yeah.
Here's the pull again. AlleyCats looking to even it up. Kyle Cox pulling it down. Look at Michael Ames. Almost a double team from Pittsburgh there. Cameron Brock in the middle. Swing out away. There's Schwartz coming back for the help. Wisey holds that one in.
Looks like a vertical stack from the AlleyCats. Trying to get some motion up and down the field in cuts. There's a nice one to Keenan Plew.
His first touch. We'll see a few more of those. Oh, a little bit crowded there.
Yep, two cutters going to the same space and a poach D.
It's a big D point here to finish, and they are not able to get it as Mitch Sion makes a nice deep cut on with Joey Carey defending. This is not the start they were looking for, the AlleyCats.
No, but it's similar to last week where they went down early. So they've been in this position before. They know they can come back. I don't think they're too worried yet, but it's definitely not what they wanted.
You know, you could easily just ascribe it to some early game jitters. Obviously, it's a big game for both, and those are. It was a good O point to start with Pittsburgh. They have a good O point. They have a good O. We can expect that, and kind of uncharacteristic turnover with because the AlleyCats space so well, and you don't typically see two guys cutting that same area like that. So see if they can clean it up here. Kyle Cox again getting the pull. You see they're back to their good spacing here. Schwartz in the middle.
Looks like a backhand force from Pittsburgh. A little aggressive mark there.
Michael Ames to Keenan Plew. See, they made that one look real easy.
Yeah, that was much easier, and that's a combo that we should see multiple times tonight. Michael Ames going to Keenan Plew. He knows where he's going, and he feels comfortable making that throw. Keenan definitely beat his defender there.
Without a doubt. I really thought Pittsburgh did a good job guarding their cutters coming back on that first offensive possession. But there, the AlleyCats really had, I think, better spacing, and easy. Every one of those throws was easier. And we got Pittsburgh back on O, receiving from Nick Hutton. Let's see if he tries another out-of-bounds pull or cranks one big, which he can do. And there's that big pull. Jack Slevin fielding it, looking for Brandenburg. We'll see a lot of him. There he already pulls one off. And Hutton,
almost a highlight D, yeah. AlleyCats need to match up here.
That's just too easy.
Yep.
It's like Federico got lost a little bit there, and in that little give and go, and Brandenburg hit him for an easy one.
Yeah, Pat Earls. You normally see him throwing the disc. That's where he's making most of his plays. But there he got lost a little deep. Nick Hutton tried to recover and almost had a highlight D, but after that catch, they were too close to the end zone. Didn't really have good matchups, and it was just easy in from there for Pittsburgh.
Again, you see how easy it can be when you space your cutters well, and you space downfield right. And again, that looked like a real easy conversion for them. So Pittsburgh up 3-1 now, 9:45 left. See Michael Ames fielding it here. Looking for Kyle Cox. Pretty consistent lineup they've had here. Almost the same guys, almost the same receivers in order to start the possession out. A creative throw by Michael Ames there. Keenan lets one go to the big guy, David Hortemiller. That's over Scott Trimble. I'm sorry, Sam Van Duzen, that is.
Yeah, that throw from Michael Ames here, I was a little concerned because I thought it might be to Aaron Schwartz. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that was for Keenan Plew. And then Keenan Plew sees David Hortemiller, who's a tall receiver. When he sees him deep with a few steps, he's gonna put it every time.
Yeah, Hortemiller's got the combination of height, very big height, and speed. Discstore.com is a proud supporter and sponsor of this broadcast. Pick up your next disc from Discstore.com. Discstore.com provides the best prices on team jerseys, guaranteed. Ask about the AUDL discount at Discstore.com. Okay, Pittsburgh back at it. And once again, you see Brandenburg to Pat Earls. Launching a big one to Max Shepard. Making it look easy.
Yep, so it looks like Pat Earls is kind of running the initiation cut. He's going to be the first cutter, and they want to get it into his hands because they know he's got deadly throws. So if he can get open, you'll see on this replay, he's open here. They get it to him right away. He looks downfield. If he has someone, he's throwing it. No hesitation. Right in the end zone, right where it needs to be.
Yeah, he barely juked on that cut there, Shepard. He just kind of just went straight downfield.
Yep.
Six points already scored by both teams. And like we expected, the fireworks are starting early. A lot of scoring, a lot of quick points. Just one break to start the game off the AlleyCats' first O possession. Ames getting the pull. Looking again for Cox. Oh, a nice bid there by Diamichis. Good break mark throw by Kyle Cox there. And a somewhat ill-advised hammer throw from Joey Carey. Looking for Schwartz, but not connecting.
Ooh, and then Joey Carey can't come up with the D on that high hammer throw from Pittsburgh.
On an equally ill-advised hammer throw. That one, they're lucky enough to pick a better target, I guess. A bigger target.
Yeah, the difference between the Pittsburgh hammer and the AlleyCats hammer is that he at least gave his receiver a chance to adjust to the disc. The hammer from Joey Carey was a little too fast, didn't give him time to react, and that one floated for a while. The receiver could stand underneath it and read it.
Don't just hope you're covered. When it comes to your coverage, luck should have nothing to do with it. Talk to Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance today. Visit infarmbureau.com for a free auto quote or to find your local Indianapolis area agent. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. All right, the Cats resuming possession. Unfortunately, after giving up a break, you see Levi Jacobs in now. A little push on the mark. Throws into traffic. For another AlleyCats turnover.
This is not the start the AlleyCats wanted. They've had some slow starts this year, and they've come back, but digging a hole this early of 4 points would not be good.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Payne is down there and maybe a little bit of pain. Looks like a foul on the mark here. Called by referee John Keene. Highsmith resuming play. Throws a nice little floater out. Not able to quite get in was Engel. And Eddie Peters finishes the deal. All right, now we're looking at a 6-2 margin for the Thunderbirds. 7:30 left. A lot of game left, but this is not the way one of these teams wanted to start.
That's definitely true. I'm a little surprised that there's not a timeout or something just to refocus the AlleyCats. They're coming out and they've strung together a few pretty bad turnovers, just careless throws. They are throwing out a few new players. I see Dana Granholm coming over from the D-line, who's going to be playing O-line. And the rest of the guys, most of them look like their normal O-line stalwarts like Keenan Plew and Cameron Brock. But
yeah, Jacobs and Gross and, like you said, Granholm out there.
Yep. So this is a big point for them to refocus and not fall behind by too much.
Keenan Plew surprisingly fielding the pole there. Definitely trying to mix things up a little bit here. Levi Jacobs is not able to pull it down off the large Beardsley there. That's a tough matchup. Flo the throw floated a little bit. I'm sorry, that was Mogilski there with the D for Pittsburgh. Double team for the Cats, not able to pressure too much. You got Diamichis here. Diesel, as I think they call him. Oh, it's a rare turnover now from Pittsburgh.
Keenan's going to try to fast break. He sees Cameron Brock.
That's what the AlleyCats were looking for there. A nice D and conversion right away.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh player tried to make a swing pass off the sideline, couldn't catch up to it. Keenan sees an opportunity right away. He knows he can fast break, and when Keenan picks it up, Cameron instinctively just runs to the corner and knows it's going to be there.
Yeah, he knows well to run right to that back corner of that end zone, and that Keenan will likely find him. Today's broadcast is sponsored by Dr. John Rempel and Health Zone Chiropractic. Proud to support and provide peak performance for Ultimate in Central Indiana. Visit us online at healthzonechiro.net. That's healthzone, CHIRO.net. Okay, we got the Pittsburgh resuming possession here.
I think that's Pat Earls with the disc. He finally didn't throw it for a score this time.
Brandenburg back in it. Now he wants some of that action. John James for the AlleyCats making a decent bid, but Fedorenko still pulls it down. Here we go. Jones makes a nice effort, but it's a tough height matchup for him.
And Fedorenko had position as well, so yeah, he probably would have had to dive through him to actually touch the disc.
Over and through, yeah. That's hard to do.
That's hard to do.
So that puts Pittsburgh up 7-3 with 6 minutes left in the first quarter here. Ames with the pull here. Looks like Pittsburgh was playing up a little bit more on the handlers there. Schwartz on the sideline looking for some help. Finds it with Joey Carey. And the give-go swing over the other side. Keenan looks off, a deep look to Ames. Swinging across the field wisely. And Hormel is able to use that big jump to get in the end zone.
Yeah, it was good footwork there. He, the disc was in the air for a long period of time. As you see, it swings off the sideline over to Cam. When he throws it here to Hortemiller, it's in the air, and he has time to think about it. And he's like, I can just milk this all the way into the end zone. Does a good job with his footwork. Yeah, good awareness by Hortemiller to find the end zone like that. Yep. You hate to land on the inch line and have to, a lot of possessions die after that. Yep. Every added throw is just a little bit more. There's a greater chance for some sort of turnover. So raising that degree of difficulty. Yep. All right, that reduces the margin to 3, 7-4 Pittsburgh. I have a feeling we're going to see a double team come up here. They weren't able to get down quick enough, though. Yeah, it looked like Pittsburgh was ready for that. They had someone sprinting up the sideline so they could get in quickly. Shepard there was they were ready for that. The Cats do that so much. And look at this. Oh, look at that grab by Earls or by Shepard. Great grab in the end zone. I think the throw that really opened that up was Pat Earls. He had about a 25-yard flick right here, past the line of defenders, and then it was just off to the races for Pittsburgh. And you see how there are 3 Pittsburgh players with only one AlleyCat. Mm-hmm. So 3 guys behind just one AlleyCat
playing safety. That's not a good recipe right there.
Yeah, the AlleyCats tried to throw a little bit of a zone there. They had a line of guys that were probably 15 to 20 yards off the disc. They want you to try to put up a difficult throw over the top where that back safety can come in and create a D, but right there they got it into the weak spot right behind that line, and they were able to just score from there.
I think that was as we see the pull here to Ames. I think that's partly due because the Cats couldn't get down quite fast enough on that pull, and they never got their defense settled in to start with.
Yep, definitely.
Ames out to the opposite sideline, looking in the middle for Keenan. See Kyle Cox coming out here. He's picked up. Pittsburgh a little bit back on their heels here. And, and Keenan with the rare drop there. Almost had it on the second effort.
He'll be disappointed about that one. We'll see whether the AlleyCats offense can now flip it around and start playing defense.
Well, they're going to have to, right?
Yep.
Keenan's the spark plug of this team often. We'll see if he can make a play on the defensive end. And a nice huck, but it might get tracked down. Hortemiller with a great D. Really important D.
Yeah, that's sometimes tough. He was trailing the offensive player there, and when the disc is coming quickly right to the side of you, it's hard to extend and get your hand on that, but he did a good job there.
When you look at that.
Wow. Layout D right into a Callahan. You don't see that very often.
Now, does that count as a Callahan if it's a tip from your own player?
I think, yeah.
Or is that an assist?
It's an assisted Callahan by your own player. It's confusing, but it's impressive, and it's not very common.
Mogilski with the D and tip.
Wow.
Right to, was that Beardsley?
Was that number 71 maybe?
71. John Mast. You don't see a lot of that.
Down there, she's looking for 3 fun contestants to take part in our in-between.
Well, we'll see how the AlleyCats respond to that. Kind of freakish play. That you're probably going to see that on the plays of the week in the AUDL channel. Brock back to Plew. See if they can get back to business. Nice big swing to Hortemiller. To Schwartz. He's got some room downfield, but he throws it up a bit. And Highsmith gets in the way of Gross. And Peter Carlton isn't able to track down the tip.
Yeah, that probably an ill-advised throw all the way across the field. It really needed to be put out a little further if the AlleyCats player was going to have a chance.
Yeah, that could be. Oh, and what did I say? Keenan Plew is, he was looking to make up for that drop earlier. And could he bookend it? He sure does.
Yep, he put up his hand, and when Peter Carlton sees that, he's going to try to find him. Yeah.
That's the play when you get the D, and then you go get the score.
Right here, Keenan's putting up his hand. He knows he's open.
And Peter Carlton loves that hammer throw.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that could be something to, you hope for the AlleyCats could fire their D up, because they've missed on a more than a few possessions here, and you like to see when your offense can get down, get a turnover, and then create some on their side and get that conversion. And we pull here, fielded by Batts. Nice comeback by Fedorenko. Not challenged much there. We'll see what the Cats are trying to do on D. They're a bit spread out. A big huck to Janae. Cannot come up with it. And that, I believe, is Beardsley pulling it down.
Yep, number 28. Pat Earls again. You see his left-handed flick hucks. The AlleyCats have no. Yep, right here, number 3 puts up a big flick huck, and it slices right over top of the defender, and then number 28 comes down with it.
Yeah, Beardsley over Fellow there.
Right now, the AlleyCats defense doesn't really have anything. They can't stop Pat Earls' forehand. They need to make some sort of adjustment because he's slicing them up and down the field.
You know, as opposed to some of the previous Cats Pittsburgh games, Pittsburgh is connecting on almost all of their deep shots. A little bit different conditions. The last game was certainly kind of windy. Today is not at all, as you saw the still flag earlier. But yeah, the Cats gotta adjust.
Looks like there was contact maybe downfield, so 10 yards forward.
Ames will take the 10 yards, march it up. Play comes back in. Pittsburgh up 10-5. Just 1:40 left in the quarter. Carey thinks about a deep shot. Finds Cox instead. Miller Schwartz. And this looks as a much more contained offense there, making smart throws.
Yeah, that was definitely much smoother. They get a strike up the sideline, and then the mark falls. Cox hits Miller over to Aaron Schwartz, and then you'll see Keenan open downfield, and Schwartz hits him with a backhand right in the end zone.
Yeah, a lot of this AUDL game compared to the USAU game, obviously the difference in field size. And as throwers, you have to remember that you have time. It's a little easier to get open. There's so much more space, and sometimes it's just better to, especially if your deep shots aren't looking, take that extra second to make the smarter throw. Wait for that next open cutter, because there's often going to be one coming right after. Hutton with the big pull here. It's like Brandenburg fielding it.
They shut down Pat Earl's initial cut there, so that's good. I think they're starting to play him a little bit more under, trying to keep him away from the disc since he's been so dangerous with it in his hands.
And there's Shepard, who's been a big target downfield and upfield. Yeah, you notice the AlleyCats, they're playing more straight man-on-man here. They were playing a lot of 4 defenders in the box, in the handler box, that is, earlier. Now I think they've shifted their defense a bit downfield, trying to answer all those deep shots that Pittsburgh's been getting.
Yep. And looks
like
like
a receiver travel or a throw.
It was. They're saying it's a thrower
that's
travel,
a thrower travel,
so that's a turnover.
That's a quick.
It's a break for the
AlleyCats.
Transition
to a thrower travel. The difference being, as a receiver travel would not be a turnover, but once you establish yourself as a thrower, almost like as in basketball, it's a turnover. Now we might have a receiver travel right there.
I'm thinking
on
that
by Jacobs.
It may have been some contact downfield because it looked like the ref downfield ended up calling that. Now we see a timeout.
All right, wise count. We got 24.4 seconds left. Down 4 are the AlleyCats, and obviously they're gonna get some big guys in. Horton Miller, Rick Gross. And I'm sure you're going to see some big guys on on Pittsburgh side as well, waiting for that big throw coming.
Yeah, 24 seconds is a fair amount of time, so they'll probably keep in some guys like Keenan Plew and Joey Carey so that the offense can still work, but they're definitely going to want some height in there. So from the looks of it, you see Rick Gross and Horta Miller and Cameron Brock, and those are going to be the receivers in the end zone that they're looking for if it gets under 5 seconds.
Right. Yeah, you can't exactly sit back on the throw 3 guys back on that goal line, because that gives the opportunity to the offense sometimes to work it up with 25 seconds now. That's, like you said, plenty of time to get it to within 30 or even closer and get a closer in shot. Today's broadcast is brought to you by the Indiana Ultimate Foundation. The IUS mission is to promote the growth and development of Ultimate at all levels in the state of Indiana. Visit them online at indianaultimatefoundation.com. All right, let's see what the Cats have. There's 20 seconds. This clock keeps growing, Blake. It's 26 seconds now. Cats setting up their play here. See if they can cook up some kitty magic.
Looks like a little bit of a side stack with 2 people out on an island. Keenan Plew going deep right off the bat.
Wasn't expecting that. Oh, and look at this. They're going to pay. Now that's a surprise to see Pittsburgh allow Keenan Plew to sneak through like that. Let's see the replay and what happened to the Pittsburgh defense.
I don't know whether he was expecting help over the top, which he kind of got, but wasn't quick enough.
Yeah, I think it was it Tranquilo down there on the D, but he was kind of playing even with Keenan Plew, and in that situation, you would expect to have someone clearly in a last back spot, and that as a safety, so to speak, role. But Cats had a nice play there. Still a lot of time left, 16 seconds. It only took them 9 seconds to score there. And see if the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds can pull off a little magic of their own.
Don't be surprised if they get one cut from Pat Earls, and then he's looking for his lefty forehand into the end zone.
This could be a big shift in the game right here. Oh, you look at the Cats storm the field.
That's a momentum swing right there.
That's dangerous mojo. You don't want to light a fire under these guys.
Ooh.
Pittsburgh fans trying to figure out what just happened.
The AlleyCats really got down there quickly, and I don't think that Pittsburgh players were expecting that. The throw went a little high, and then Carlton came right over the top on him. So this throw right here hangs a little bit.
Floats one up.
Yep.
And
Carlton comes down with it.
Yeah. Slevin's not able to pull it down. Carlton was just smelled that one early and attacked it.
Yep, and Spencer Lascar was right there to get the score.
It can be dangerous medicine with a team like this, a young team, because they've been frustrated with their offense, with their turnovers early, their lack of ability to slow down Pittsburgh. As we see them try a last gas Hail Mary, and
the momentum swings right back.
Big target comes down with it.
Yeah, as I said before that, AlleyCats D, they looked for Pat Earls on that first cut, and then he opens up with a huge forehand down the field, and Beardsley comes down with it.
All right, well, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back to start the second quarter.
Hi, I'm Adam. And all my life, I've been considered a pretty lucky guy.
I'm the house.
Ah, thanks. For starters, I get upgrades everywhere I go. And I just win things, like, all the time.
And the winner is this guy.
But you're not this lucky. No one is. So talk to a Farm Bureau agent today, because when it comes to your coverage, luck should have nothing to do with it.
All right, Blake. Well, we asked for fireworks, and we just had a bunch. Three scores in the last 26 seconds.
Yep, pretty crazy. The AlleyCats got 2 in a row there, and we were thinking they were going to go into the second quarter with just a 2-point deficit and maybe a little bit of momentum, but the Thunderbirds come right back and get a deep shot into the end zone and a last-second goal.
Yeah. As you said, Earls is really lighting it up for them, and a great Hail Mary shot, and Beardsley, who's just a great downfield target, seemed to be the only guy playing down there. Just reached out of the trees, out of the forest, and put it down for a good score to kind of stem that last burst of momentum from the Cats. But as they start out on offense here, we'll see what the Cats can follow up with.
All right, that was way funkier than I expected. You got a huge round of applause for all of our contestants. We are going to give a special prize.
And here's your poll. Joey Carey bringing it down. Keene's got an open look, and Cameron chooses not to hit that. Comes back for an easy upfield gainer. They're moving it quick here. They got 2 guys downfield, and Schwartz pulls it down from Kyle Cox.
I think early on in the point you see Cameron Brock with the disc, and he's got an open Keenan Plouffe streaking deep, but I think they probably made the decision that they're going to try to work it up the field a little more and not take the big risk throws, the deep shots that come with a higher degree of difficulty.
Yeah, and you see what a wise decision that was, at least on that point, as the Cats had 2 guys behind their defense and a relatively easy 25 or so yard throw for the goal. That makes it 11-9 with 11:39 to go in the second quarter. Levi Jacobs with the pull. Launches it high. Might not come back in. No, just a couple feet out. Brandenburg is going to take that in the middle around the 25 or so. Let's see where they end up. All the way to the 30.
Looks like a double team right off the bat.
They got their double team on finally. That sneaks behind that first line. Little give go, and there's Shepard again. They're moving it down pretty quickly here. And Fedorenko sneaks away again. I think the AlleyCats are playing back a little bit there.
I'm thinking that there may have been some miscommunication on the force there. Looks like they're mostly backhand up until this point where he jumps over, and then it's an easy to the force or to the break side, and then another around flick. So everybody's got to be on the same page with the force there.
Yeah, one break can really ruin a whole defense. With the team that's experienced and rehearsed at, one break can make a whole, whole another string after that. So it's really important to keep the proper break and communicate with your teammates. Hammonds with the big pole here. Joey Carey fielding it to Ames again.
Coming out with a horizontal stack this time for the AlleyCats offense. Spreading the field a little bit.
Great bid by Tranquilo there on Keenan Plew, but Plew pulls it down. Brock upfield to Schwartz. He's got an open look. Kyle Cox does downfield. And beautiful throw from Schwartz for a big goal.
Much like we saw earlier in the game with Hortemiller, the throw goes up and then Kyle Cox sees that he has time and he knows that he can wait on it, and he just kind of milks this all the way into the end zone right there and catches it at the last second.
Well, it looks like Kyle Cox does so much handling that it's real easy to sneak away sometimes when your defense is expecting to go to the disc, and you make that deep cut, kind of throws him off, surprises him, and that's, I think, what happened to Kyle Cox's matchup there. He was real open. A shout out to Kyle Cox's father, Mel, who's one of the super fans here, and the AlleyCats, a regular at the stadium here, sees most of the AlleyCats home games. Always here early for some tailgating, and a very well-liked fixture is Mel Cox, Kyle's father.
I think I saw him out in the parking lot before the game.
As always, as always. Brandenburg back in the middle to Shepard. Him and Earls. Oh, that's an insane D by the big fella.
Now he's streaking deep. We'll see if no throw available.
Yeah, he weren't able to get the disc in on time, but he was looking for that bookend, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Carlton picks it up to Dana Granholm. Nice chance for another break here. He's not getting a lot of looks. Colton Steiner comes in for some help there. Back to Fella. Zach Zebarth in there, first time in a bit. D-line being smart here. Trying to work up the field gradually.
They haven't had a whole lot of opportunities, so it's good to see that they're cherishing it as we see a deep throw.
I was just going to say, with Peter Carlson
at some point
in possession,
he's going to look deep.
You're more often than not going to see a big one out of him, and he's just the guy to do it. He has a great arm. He had a nice hammer earlier to Keenan. And the AlleyCats draw within one here with 9:27 left in the second quarter. It's 12-11 Pittsburgh. DiscStore.com is a proud supporter and sponsor of this broadcast. Pick up your next disc from DiscStore.com. DiscStore.com provides the best prices on team jerseys, guaranteed. Ask about the AUDL discount at DiscStore.com. You look at this Pittsburgh O-line here, Flake. Now, a big, tall line that they have some of their big guys in, and this is going to be interesting to see which of these styles here, if the exuberance and quickness of the AlleyCats will rule the day, or if Pittsburgh can regain their composure of earlier. They try early with the big huck, and that looks like it's going to come down to Highsmith with Jones in pursuit.
Looks like Pittsburgh came in with a few new guys, which is what you see after a break by the defense. So the AlleyCats made their original starting line work pretty hard. So they brought in some new guys, and you hope that you can continue the breaks when that happens. But two throws and they were in right there.
Again, making it look easy. What was that, 3 throws?
Yep.
So, well, there's your answer to my question. They didn't need to work it up the field, be methodical whatsoever there, but they found the matchups. They found a good cut from Highsmith and a nice throw as well. And they go back up 2. regular Cats O back on the field. Looks like they're mainly one O-line. Ames looking. Right back from Joey Carey. Ames looking downfield a little bit to Kyle. Keeping it in bounds there. Nice footwork by the big fella. Oh, he spots a nice gap through right across the middle of the defense to Hornemiller. Beautiful throw by Kyle Cox.
Yeah.
The IU Mama's connection there.
Early on in the point, Kyle Cox was being poached off of, and Ames was able to hit him on the sideline, and from there they worked it slowly until he has basically no mark on him, and he can throw an easy backhand to the break side, and Hornemiller's open.
Yeah, as you saw there, real nice downfield vision. Don't just hope you're covered. When it comes to your coverage, luck should have nothing to do with it. Talk to Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance today. Visit infarmbureau.com for a free auto quote or to find your local Indianapolis area agent. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Okay, we see some trading of points here. The AlleyCats going back to down 1, 13-12 Pittsburgh. And each team thirsty for a break here. Brandon back in the middle. His usual spot. And Shepard looking upfield there. Fedorenko. A lot of openness. Looks like they're running one cutter at a time almost here. And then Shepard looking downfield. Not going to happen today, says Peter Carlton. It puts it up. Oh, that's going to float, though. Right to Hutton. Oh, the AlleyCats with a big one. Bring out the roast mutton because Nick Hutton's coming to dinner.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. So right here, you see the D by Pat Earls. He can't catch it, and he had to stretch out, so he just tried to slap it away, but Hutton comes down with it and hits fella right away.
Yeah, Hutton eating up that tip bid on D, and a very important goal there. That ties it up, and it's 13-13 with 8:08 left. We got the double team set again, and Rick Rose was smelling a D there for a second. A little floaty break to Highsmith. Oh, I think Levi Jacobs might have got a piece of that.
I think so. I think you're right.
And could be, let's see what this D-line can do with this. Wouldn't be surprised to see a timeout if they get stymied. But I'm sure Coach Payne wants to see these guys finish this point.
Nice swing throw.
Ning there.
Levi.
Back to Levi. John Jones getting a touch here. They're working it up.
Oh.
And Rick Rose is looking for a call. Might have been one on the receiver.
I'm thinking the mark may have been leaning on him when he was making that break throw.
It looked like Rick was looking for a call.
Yeah.
You have better eyes than I do. So that'll move the disc back in the middle. See, Levi Jacobs gonna be taking. No, it's going back to Rick at the right of the goal line. Throws it to some space to Colin Ringwood. Good to get that disc back there. That would have been a heartbreaker for the Cats to let that one go.
Yeah, you see Rick Rose, he can just step around here with the easy backhand.
Big
to
range,
space.
yeah.
Yep.
That's tough to get a hand block, and even if you expect that throw coming.
Didn't expect to see the Cats in the lead as early as the second quarter, or midway through the second quarter after going down by, what was it, 4 or 5 in that first quarter?
Yeah, down 4 earlier, and made quite a role reversal here. And from now on, it's just that's who can first finish this half out. Cats obviously have some momentum, but Pittsburgh was really clicking earlier. Let's see what they can pull out of the hat here.
Still have Patterol's on that initiation cut, and he looks deep right away.
Right away. A nice floaty throw to Fedorenko.
Yeah, I keep harping on it, but it keeps happening. He's always their initiation cut, and when he gets it, he's looking upfield right away with no hesitation, and if it's open at all, he's going to throw it.
Yeah, and too often you see the Cats already behind the cutter.
From the sidelines, I can hear them yelling "no huck" whenever he touches the disc, but the issue is that the mark isn't close enough to actually to set and take away that throw. And it may have actually been where they were forcing. I'm not sure. It was early on in the point. So
it's hard to tell if they're actually forcing away or not, if that was a break.
Yep, they've got to do something to adjust, though, because the same thing keeps happening.
That's still a 6-3 run for the Cats, tying it up at 14-14, 6:23 left in the second quarter. But it seems like, it could be more if the Cats can figure out how to, quit giving these big hucks up. Seems a lot of Pittsburgh points come easy with 2-3 throws even sometimes. Let's see if Blue can find Cameron Brock, which he does. Nice gratuitous layout there by Diamikas.
Yeah, you knew when Keenan was getting on this end cut right here, Cameron takes off because he knows that if he's open,
and you see Cameron already breaking before
Yep.
Keenan's even got the disc.
Yep.
That comes with years of playing together. Ball State alums is another close by here is Blake.
Yeah, I've played with both of them. I think they both got a little better than college. They've definitely both improved, but they were fun to play with back at Ball State, and and as we've continued our careers.
How many Ball State players are there? I think it's mainly those two and you. Being a former Cat yourself.
Yeah, Dana Granholm was another one. He's playing out there. We've had a few other guys like Alex Basham and Robert Stasi, and even Super Twan or Antoine from years past. He was before my time, but he's been around and part of the program for a long time.
Well, sure, and we can hear this side of the story as Super Twan is back in town from Savannah, Georgia, here tonight, and he'll be our guest at halftime as we look at a big downfield. Oh, Levi Jacobs almost comes up with a big D. I think that was from...
That was Pat Earls again.
That was Earls again.
Yeah, I'm going to sound
like a broken record.
Broken record, but they've got to do something to stop that forehand because that's literally the only thing he's throwing.
Also happen to be a lot of IU players, as I remember, that are on the Cats, have been on the Cats. We definitely had our share of good players from both schools.
Yeah, and it seems like IU was definitely good there for a while. Ball State had a few good years, and I think Purdue's done pretty well recently. So there's been a lot of contributions from a lot of different schools in Indiana. Some homegrown talent.
Cats have been blessed as Keenan Plew comes down with a big one over Mike Ogren, despite the height advantage for Pittsburgh there. Yeah, I was saying the Cats are blessed with a lot of great colleges. There's a call there.
Foul against Pittsburgh.
I think Pittsburgh knows that. It was Angle on the foul. Kyle Cox takes his 10 yards. Pittsburgh throws the double team. And there's some contact there. Eddie Peters actually gets Kyle Cox to create a little contact there. And so they will march off 10 yards. See, Keenan Plew gets a nice conversion from Kyle right out of that penalty. Yeah, he just said, okay, fine, I'll take 10 off. Put on 10 more and hit Keenan downfield.
Yeah, quick little move. Keenan just breaks right away off of the disc coming in, and Kyle Cox sees him and gets a good backhand off.
Today's broadcast is sponsored by Dr. John Rempel and Health Zone Chiropractic. Proud to support and provide peak performance for Ultimate in Central Indiana. Visit us online at healthzonechiro.net. That's healthzone, CHIRO.net. Okay, 4 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the second period. AlleyCats up 16-15. A barn burner for sure. Big hanging pole. Federico coming down in the middle to Brandenburg, looking for a call.
I don't think Colton's too happy about that. Yeah,
Colton Steiner
yeah,
disagrees with the call. Good sportsmanship there, shaking hands there. Shepard out back to Brandenburg. There's Shepard looking downfield. They don't find him though.
Looks like they're forcing flick now, and they're trying to take away that lefty flick for Pat Earls.
Yeah, finally adjusting to that. Oh, nice fake and break mark there by Brandenburg. Shepard on the sideline looking for Earls.
That looks like a pick.
A lot of contact there. Like Nick Hutton was kind of bounced into Earls there. A little heated down there.
So
yeah, Vats and looks like Vats and Hutton had initial contact, and he got bounced into Earls. Yeah, you didn't quite see that initial contact. Yeah, Hutton's looking at.
I think what Hutton's mad about is that it didn't look like Vats was actually making a play on the disc. He was just trying to put his body in front of Nick Hutton, and that's a dangerous
like
play.
A pick.
When you've got a guy running a full sprint and he's about to jump, and you're not really trying to go for the disc, then I'm sure that's what he's upset about. And it looks like they're not counting the goal, and that may have been the reason. I'm guessing there's some sort of they're calling it some sort of foul, and so
Vats is arguing his case. It's like a official conference here. Not sure if I've seen this kind of play before.
It's not common. You don't usually see someone else trying to box out a defender without trying to go for the disc.
Something I've seen on the field. I haven't seen it in the AUDL and how they call that, but obviously they're giving the disc to the Cats. And Rick Gross and looks like Zach Zebarth, Fedorenko, a big crowd down there trying to get that floaty hook from Nick Hutton there, and no one can pull it down. Nick Hutton, by the way, looks like a dangerous conduct call as well on that last play. Another big downfield shot to Vats, so like Vats wins that round.
Yeah, Pat Earls with another flick huck, lefty flick huck to David Vats. That seems to be one of his favorite receivers, and again, that's his favorite throw.
There goes that broken record again.
Yep.
Earls downfield.
At some point, we're going to have to check on that stat because he's got to be close to some sort of record. It seems like every other goal for them has at least been one of his throws.
Yeah, without a doubt. He's really lighting it up today. You know, great players come to play in the big moments, and he's certainly delivering.
The good thing is, for the Cats at least, is that he's doing that well, and they're not containing him, and yet the score is tied. So
16-16 with 2 minutes and 9 seconds left in the second quarter. You're right.
They're receiving the disc, and they're in a good position. So
yeah, there hadn't been a lot of breaks since the Cats made that run to get back on top. Kind of trading points again here, but just a nice play is being made on both sides.
I think you see as the offenses settle down and get more in a rhythm, and the defenses get a little bit tired, you see less breaks.
And here we see Cameron streaking, but he's covered. Schwartz looks downfield with a really nice throw.
Great throw by Schwartz.
Schwartz has settled into a nice little groove after a couple of miscues earlier.
I think you see after Schwartz gets it on the end cut right here, he looks for him first with the flick, and then as he breaks off, he's got that backhand to the break side with no mark.
Brock wisely going to that away side, seeing that extra defender on that home side corner and using that space. Today's broadcast is brought to you by the Indiana Ultimate Foundation. The IUS mission is to promote the growth and development of Ultimate at all levels in the state of Indiana. Visit them online at indianaultimatefoundation.com. All right, here's the Oscar with the low pole. Massfield into Brandenburg. Looked like a missed throw, and John Jones.
Be interesting to see.
Looks like a strip call.
Looked like it was close, but they're saying the offensive player had it first.
Hard to see from here, but I don't see Jones arguing too much, but it was a heck of a bid on his part. Some nice fakes by Brandenburg there. And it looks like
that's a break for the AlleyCats.
Fedorenko just misses his downfield target.
It was almost too open for him, and when you get in that situation, sometimes you can overthink it and think about the throw too much, and then you end up with a turnover like that.
Yeah. So we got timeout here by the AlleyCats, 45 seconds left. As we see if we can get any closer look on that defensive
bang
call.
play.
Still tough to tell from that angle. But important thing is here for the Cats is that they have a chance to finally get a break and go up 2.
Yeah, the nice thing about the AUDL is on a timeout, they get to sub in their offensive line. So the AlleyCats wisely use the timeout and get in that group that has been in a pretty good groove in this second quarter.
They really picked it up off a lot of miscues and missteps in that first quarter when they were down 4. And it's been really a different team. The angled stack here starting out. This is a little different.
see something exciting. Everybody stand up.
Kyle Cox will start the possession as the defense takes their positions. The AlleyCats crowd starting to light it up here. Feel the bleachers shake.
Looks like a double team right off the bat from Pittsburgh. Ames looks to be the one that with no defender.
Down, yeah, he might be the reset down the field, and he busts deep. Nice little, almost a little miscommunication there to start between Plu and Carey. Now they're back in the flow here. Cameron needs a little bit of help. Oh. Misses Ames, and this will be a nice opportunity here for Pittsburgh, and they follow with the timeout.
Sure, they want to get their offensive line out there now. 25 seconds and 10 to 15 yards away from the end zone. They're definitely going to want to put this one in.
Yeah, what do you think about that play they just ran there, Blake?
So it looked like they got it off the sideline in that initial double team, which was good. They swung it to the opposite sideline. Cameron didn't have much downfield, and so he saw Ames breaking open to the middle of the field, and it just happened to be it was a little over his head, and Ames was kind of running or sprinting more towards the end zone. So it was just the angle that it was coming in. It was tough for him to get. He couldn't go up and jump vertically to get it, so he ended up being a turnover.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Cats run that play much from the start. It looked a little discombobulated in the beginning here. But now we'll see what Pittsburgh can make out of this soup.
If you want to see that cat, let's see you run!
It's a big goal, obviously, for them. As Earl starts it out. Looking for the Cats, they might be thinking, you can't huck it from here.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if he puts around a big forehand to that break side with all those cutters on that side.
It's a nice break throw there to start it off. And Earl's on the way side, out in the flat, no mark. Well, that was Earl's to Shepard for an easy looking score. We got 6 seconds left for the AlleyCats to do something.
Yeah, we see on this replay, swing to the sideline. He sees somebody open, and he can put up a quick blading forehand.
Blading forehand, yeah, it gets there so fast.
Yeah, it's tough as a defender because it comes in so quickly. You don't have time to react.
All right, 6 seconds to go in the half.
Don't forget at halftime, head over to Neon Energy Drink, the energy drink that keeps you amped and it glows in the dark.
There's the pull. We're going to work it up a little bit. They got 2 seconds left. One. It gets the throw off. Let's see what happens here. Portermill's tracking it. And Highsmith comes down.
And that'll be the end of the first half. Tie game, 17-17.
17-17 here at the end of the half. Like we expected. A good, tough matchup for both teams. All right, well, that begins our halftime festivities. We're going to take a short break and resume shortly with our own greatest rap and frisbee player of all time, Super Twan.
Hi, I'm Adam. And all my life I've been considered a pretty lucky guy.
On the house.
Ah, thanks. For starters, I get upgrades everywhere I go. And I just win things like all the time.
And the winner is this guy.
But you're not this lucky. No one is. So talk to a Farm Bureau agent today, because when it comes to your coverage, luck should have nothing to do with it.
say the winner of this will get a special gift. They're going to get 3 days and a 2-night getaway, an awesome vacation for keeping everybody entertained, and because it's Fan Appreciation Night. We love you guys. Is everybody ready? Round one, our contestants ready? All right, here we go. Be ready to act kind of foolish. All right, we'll start nice and easy. Round one. Give us your best prowling alley cat. You're on the prowl. There's a Thunderbird floating in the air. You want to capture it. Really embody an alley cat. All right. Sears gift cards. A big round of applause for all of our contestants.
All right, well, as promised, here in the booth we have the one and only greatest rapping Frisbee player of all time, Super Twan.
Super. What's going on, Meat?
Hey, I'm doing real well, having fun watching this game here. Blake.
All tied.
Oh, yeah.
At half.
We talked earlier about how there was going to be suitably a lot of fireworks in this game.
For sure.
And we've certainly seen it. So what's your take down in the stands there?
I actually watched their last game against Pitt when I was driving back home to Savannah after a Jacksonville game, and they were down 4 and then came back to win by 4. So I saw a little bit of the same thing. They went down early, battled back.
Yep.
And now we're tied at halftime.
Same deficit, same story so far.
Yeah.
They still got a couple quarters to go, obviously, but they battled back.
Battled back. That's huge. I think any time you're down and you're able to tie the game, whether it's at halftime or the end of the quarter, it's big for you and your team, for your morale.
For sure, for sure. You know, we've been talking like every game about, you know, the continuity of some say continuity of these players together. Now you played the last 2 years with the AlleyCats, now with the Jacksonville Cannons, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
All right.
But you can see, you know, not a lot has changed in those last few years from what you see today.
Yeah, the offense looks about the same, except David Hortemiller. He's new.
Yeah, Hortemiller's.
I know him through the Indy Ultimate community. But a lot of these guys on defense are names I don't recognize. I think I only recognize about half of the lineup out there from guys that I played with the past 2 years.
True. And a lot of new names for me since I was here a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But you know what we've seen is a AlleyCats are obviously a younger team.
For sure.
You were around when Travis Carpenter's rookie year, Nick Hutton's first year.
Not Travis's first year.
He was the year.
He was there
right,
the first season.
That was the year. My year. Right.
But yeah, me, Nick Hutton, Levi Jacobs, Rick Gross, maybe Spencer Lascar. I'd have to look at a couple other names to see if maybe they were there. That was their first year.
Yeah. Well, they've done a good job of in one way keeping a lot of the same talent, but finding those athletes and doing a great job developing them.
I think they've done a fantastic job developing the ultimate talent here in Indianapolis. I know when I started playing, it was not as athletic as these guys, that's for sure. And then I've watched it grow over the years. Indianapolis really doesn't have a club team, so it's not really known in the ultimate community. The AlleyCats gave them that outlet, and I think they're showing what Indianapolis has to the Frisbee world.
Right. Kind of like inverse to most places. They have the big club scene.
Absolutely.
And then the AUDL comes after that.
Exactly.
And I think what we're seeing now with the advent of a Brickyard, it was the current Indy Open team.
Yep.
With, they're composed mostly of AlleyCat players. So now you see how the AlleyCats have had that continuum going through this period of 5 years, and now they are starting to get a very very competitive open team in Brickyard.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of cities it was the opposite. When the AUDL showed up, they just took players from the club team, as opposed to Indianapolis when the AUDL showed up. I think that kind of centralized all the talent. Like a lot of guys might have gone out of state to play competitively, or were on a co-ed team, or maybe a lower tier men's team here in Indianapolis.
Without a doubt. And you can see the development that these guys have been able to go through in the AUDL is now starting to pay dividends on the club scene as well, which Indianapolis, as you pointed out, hasn't really had much of one in quite a long time.
No, not at all. Not when I started playing. Like when I started playing, the older guys had a reputation of being competitive. I know a few of you guys.
I don't know what you're talking about there.
I know a few of you guys have gone to Worlds.
We were always some of the most spirited players out there for sure.
Not at all. Complete opposite. The reputation of the Indianapolis team was well known for being argumentative and competitive.
I never contested one good call.
I mean, these are all rumors. It's all hearsay. I might have seen a little bit here and there.
There's no proof. It's not written anywhere.
No video of that stuff.
No. Luckily, we played before video was around.
That's one of those catch-22s because none of the highlights were captured either, right?
Well, they're in my head. So there are plenty of them.
It's folklore at this point. It's all legend. It's all myth.
We wrote them on stone tablets. But it's interesting you mentioned that because the Indy AlleyCats are kind of looked at as they're a younger and very spirited team. They some use the word chippy. I might use the word excitable, but
yeah,
super competitive without a doubt. Like every team in the AUDL is. That's no surprise to see these guys be competitive, but they're excitable. They you can kind of see it in that after the first quarter when they made a couple plays and the momentum kind of shifted a little bit.
Yeah,
because these guys get pumped up on D.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what young guys do. I mean, they feed off of energy. So if you can get a couple breaks or get a big play, that's going to pump up the energy for your team and all those young players.
Sure. Well, hey, enough about us. Let's talk a little bit about Jacksonville Cannons, where
yes, sir.
After 2 years serving here, you've taken your services back closer to home, where you are in Savannah.
Staying south, living in Savannah, Georgia, so Jacksonville is only 2 hours away. And me and 3 other players on the Jacksonville Cannons make the commute from Savannah down to Jacksonville for the home games.
And you have a brother of one of our players, the AlleyCats player, Peter Carlton's big
brother.
Big brother.
Andrew Carlton. Yeah, he played for the Cannons last year and is playing again this year. He switched from the D-line last year to being an offensive player this year. and I think he knows that Little C's putting up numbers today because he's in the stands.
Oh yeah, C's had some big throws earlier.
Big throws and big D's for sure.
Yeah. That D on the goal line earlier.
That was one of those momentum swings. A big play gets everybody fired up.
Yeah, we had that missed throw by Brennenberg, and C was there to just eat it up.
Yep.
Tell us about some of the teams down there. How do you think they stack up to the South Division stacks up to the Midwest?
The South Division is really tough. They have the #1 overall seed with Dallas. Dallas is winning games by an average of, I think, about 10 points.
Undefeated still.
Yeah, undefeated. #1 overall in the league.
Kittredge, amongst others.
A lot of big name players on that team, and even their secondary players are just as good. They came to Jacksonville for our last matchup of the season against them, and they only brought 15 guys. None of them were their world's players. They had, I think, Brody Smith was a big name.
That was during the WGC.
The World's
a couple years ago in London, yeah.
And so they were still able to beat us on a road trip for them with only 15 guys and not any of the big names that they signed in the offseason. So even their second-tier players are just as good.
As well, the owner has made a pretty good investment.
He did, yeah. He got the talent.
It's paying off.
He got the talent for sure. He put them all in the same house, I think, too. So.
Well, there's different approaches to this pro game, which is so much different than USIU. You can
for sure.
There's different ways to get talent. You can grow it, like the AlleyCats have done a good job. It's a slower process.
Yeah.
You don't get the headlines as much as Madison and Dallas and DC and the West Coast teams.
West Coast teams get a lot of. They get talked a lot about, that's for sure, especially in the Tuesday toss and the rankings. I know the AlleyCats have talked about wanting to get a little more respect and feel like they were higher seeds, and they're doing their best to earn that right now.
Well, they're definitely getting some more props this season and lately, as they're on a 6-1 run.
Yeah.
With the last 7 games, and getting talked about more. This is if they can pull this out tonight, it would put them in a very good position to maintain that second spot.
They clinch, don't they, a playoff berth if they make the play if they win this game?
I believe.
I think so. We're getting a confirmation.
Right, because Minnesota is still in the background, but with just 1 game left for the Cats, which would put them at 9 wins. That should clinch. There's some weird, odd mathematical how different things work out with
it's
AUDL.
The same for us in the South right now. We have to win our last 2 games, and we have to have Austin lose their last 2 games, and I think that's our only chance for the Cannons to make the playoffs. But Austin has to play tonight against Dallas on ESPN3, so hopefully Dallas can continue their winning streak and beat Austin.
So you're definitely rooting for them.
Rooting for Dallas. And then Austin has 1 more home game against Raleigh, who's #2 in the South Division. So that should be a tough matchup again. So we're hopeful that they'll lose those 2 games, and then we expect to win our last 2 games on the road.
And you can move on up.
And we'll be the 3rd seed in the playoffs.
All right. Well, hey, Twan.
Meet.
You were super.
Thank you.
Great to have you around. And come on and give us a shout. Nice to have Cats alumni.
Absolutely.
Back in town.
Good to be home with the home team.
You bet. All right. Well, to the crowd out there, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back shortly. We got about 6 minutes left of the halftime. We're tied at 17-17, and a lot of good ultimate left.
Let's go, Cats.
Bronze to blue. How many times have we seen that today?
All right, Blake, we are back in action here. Got our tie game 17-17, and 1 half left to decide this great contest. Cats closed that quarter with a 9-6 run, which, like we talked about, we've seen before, and now it's up to Pittsburgh to first of all score on this possession as they get pulled to. A little different offense stack here. They got a bunch of guys in the back. Can't quite tell what they're doing yet.
It's kind of morphed back into a vertical stack.
Rick Gross. Rick the Sick Gross.
Huge layout D there.
Huge layout on Beardsley. I think he could smell that one coming. He does try the hammer. That's a great idea there. Big play for the Cats to start out this half.
Yeah, huge layout D, and then after getting it back here.
All right, let's see this.
Yeah,
let's see the hammer score first.
Great throw, cuts right in there.
Good cut by Levi there to give Rick an easy one. And here we see, now let's look on the left side of the screen. Keep your eyes there where Gross is going to come in and just extends and uses that long reach to beat Beardsley to the disc.
Much different than the first half. Starting off with a Cat score rather than 2 breaks for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that looked more like the Cats offense starting out in the first. Hutton with the pole. There's Early again. Let's see if he gets... No. He wants to huck it again. Oh, he does get it. The big fella. He saw that one coming. I didn't think he was going to be able to get to it, but he extends at the last second and distracts Early just enough to get that turnover. Gross back handling there. Dana Granholm. Now looking for some help. Gets it back from Rick. And Levi in the corner from Rick again. How's that for a start from Rick Gross?
Great start. Yeah, you kind of see the development that's happened with some of the AlleyCats, Nick Hutton and Rick Gross. You used to see them only as cutters downfield, and now you're seeing them filling in for handlers as handlers are cutting downfield, and then they can just kind of, within the flow of the offense, find people downfield.
It's kind of like when in a boxing match when you get a guy in the corner, and you don't let him out. There's now 2 breaks right to start the half here, and it's time for Pittsburgh to fight their way out.
I think you got the fans back into it. We can kind of feel them stomping in the bleachers, and so see if they have any effect on the game.
The crowd is literally going wild.
Looks like we might have an offsides.
Offsides against the Cats.
So it's going to come up to midfield.
Yeah, big penalty for an offsides under the AUDL rules. Got the double team in the middle of the field there. I think they're more opportunistic with their double teams. If the other Pittsburgh players nearby, they'll often double team, but they don't double team by design as much as they have in the past. Moving the other way. Ammons, he likes to put it downfield. Maybe a step or 2 there. Hightower with the big break. Hammonds gets it back.
Not in yet.
Right to the goal line. This is what we talked about earlier, getting to that 1-inch line. Oh, and there's an amazing grab.
How did he get that? It was a scooper over the top that looked like it was.
If we have a replay for that.
There
was Zach Zebarth, who had good D. Let's see how this play develops. Coming from the back left. Oh, that was just a great.
Can't tell from that angle.
Zebarth was looking for some kind of call there. I was just wondering how the guy caught it.
Yeah.
A much-needed score by Pittsburgh there, reducing the margin to 1. 10:37 left in the third.
Sorry, AlleyCats fans, for your chance to win, I need you to tweet at
You know, they could not allow themselves to go down 3 there, obviously, Blake.
Yeah, that was big for Pittsburgh. Steady the ship, get their D-line back out, and hope for a break.
Without a doubt. Orman will come through the middle. Joey Carey wisely looks him off. Looking for help downfield. Ames, as often, is confident reset. Puts it up a little bit. Joey Carey. And Cox is not able to bring it down. Floated a bit and put it behind him. Fedorenko looking downfield. Doesn't have a lot of help. Gets his dump. Big wide swing dump. Ooh. Oh, risky throw. Gets away with it.
Yeah, a few opportunities there. It looked like throw went right past Cam's hand.
Yeah, Van Dusen just sneaks this
right
break.
Here, yep. And then another break, and then an easy throw into the end zone.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier again that you get that first break off, with the whole defense selling out to the home side there, and you get that first one off, and a lot easier for the cutter, the next consecutive cutters after that, to get open on that away side. So just like that, Pittsburgh ties it back up. I believe we're back to being on serve. The tie game. Or perhaps Cats still up 1 break. Game Plu in some traffic there. Gets it off to Ames. Finds Brock safely in the middle. Ames steady as usual. He doesn't look downfield often, does Michael Ames, but he's just that steady rock of a always there for a good reset. Rick Gross looking for Schwartz. Finds him. Rick Gross is really starting out on fire, huh, Blake?
Yeah, I think that's 3 assists for him maybe in the second half. We've only played
1 great D.
Yeah, a great D, and we've only played a few minutes, so
he's had a hand in each of the 3 scores.
Yeah.
Discstore.com is a proud supporter and sponsor of this broadcast. Pick up your next disc from Discstore.com. Discstore.com provides the best prices on team jerseys, guaranteed. Ask about the AUDL discount at Discstore.com. You can obviously see Rick is starting out with a lot of confidence here, which is great for him. He's certainly been developing as always been a threat in the field, but now he's adding a little throw or two to his arsenal. As Pittsburgh starts again, Fedorenko in the middle. And here's Orioles. See what he's going to try to cook up.
Looks like they've switched to a flat mark on Earls, trying to take away any big throw that he can. Showing him a lot of respect, which he earned in the first half.
Trying to neutralize his big downfield throws. Which he gets off anyway. Oh, that's a great bid. Was that Vats, who might be down?
Number 7, it looks like.
Oh, no, that's That's Fedorenko.
A lot of times on those layouts, you hit your chest and then you lose your breath for a second, and hopefully that's all that this is.
Yeah, he's getting up already. An heroic bid. Just off his hands.
At least that's what I've heard. I don't lay out that often. I know you like laying out more than I do.
You have a different job, yeah. You put that job out for a contract and have others do your dirty work.
Yep.
Very similar style to Ames. Oh, Hutton tries to extend for that, can't quite get it. Okay, we're right in the middle of another ebb and flow to this game, where the Cats start up and we see Pittsburgh getting double teamed, but they're right at the goal line. Earls gets out of that double team. And another Blady forehand, which, they get there quick. It's a tough throw to defend, but they're also harder to catch.
Yeah,
especially one-handed.
I think if you ask the cutter, though, on that one, he's going to say you should have come up with that one.
The cutter's always supposed to catch it.
That's true.
Oh, and there's a poach in there. Yeah. Yeah, that was a real nice poach by Eddie Peters there.
Yeah, he saw that all the way.
He was waiting. Yeah,
he broke on that quickly.
Coming off the disc and just charged right in there once he saw the throw go up.
Yeah, you'll see him coming from the bottom of the screen, I believe. Yep, quickly right in there. Takes it away and throws it in the end zone.
That's when, as a thrower, you got to work real hard not to get too narrow of focus on where you're trying to throw it, and widen your field of vision a little bit. Okay, well, tie ball game still. 7:38 to go in the third. Joey Carey, again, Cameron Brock. Big, wide swing over to Ames. Oh, we see, I saw Cameron Brock going deep with Plew, and perhaps wisely held that one. There's another one going.
Needs a reset option.
Yeah, he was high in the count there.
Yep.
Hortemiller trying to get it off and just misses Cox. So a nice opportunity for Pittsburgh here. Little give-go to Mike Ogren. And he's looking for help. That's got to be high in the count. Probably a timeout, or was that a stall? I think they might have missed. Looks like the coach over there was trying to get a
timeout,
but missed it.
Yeah, stall came before the timeout, so it's a turnover.
Oh, and Cameron misses Cox on the big wide swing, and they're about at the 5 with an easy conversion to Mitch Sion. Now with that break, they go up 1, does Pittsburgh, and the game is back on serve. Don't just hope you're covered. When it comes to your coverage, luck should have nothing to do with it. Talk to Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance today. Visit infarmbureau.com for a free auto quote or to find your local Indianapolis area agent. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Okay, one more chance for the AlleyCats to respond here. And, those ebbs and flows. Cats start out the half. 2 points right away, 2 breaks. Thinking they might start running away with this. And Pittsburgh, as good and experienced as they are, as the Cats throw away another one, aims to Plu. Pittsburgh is showing their experience and showing their the steadiness here. A big possession for them, so they decide, does John Mass to take a timeout?
Yeah, this might be a good thing for the Cats. It'll get their O-line off the field, so if there is a score, it at least gives them a breather so that next point they can come back in. I think they would have had to go with a different line if it was 2 points in a row right away, just because those guys would have been tired.
Yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes if you have the momentum and you get a turnover like that close to their end zone, it's good to kind of keep the foot down on the throttle and not to let that defense get a time to adjust. And obviously they get their they'll put their offensive line in, but I like sometimes to keep the pressure on, not let a team breathe.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this works out.
40 years or more. Right down in front, actually, right there in front. I think that's going to be our winner.
Looks like they're probably going to come out with a backhand for us to start.
Give them both one, Ashley. There's 2 of them there. Don't make them fight.
Yeah, Peter Carlton sets the backhand up. I think Earl is probably, that's that first cut. Nick with a good bid. Huge hammer. Rick Rose back. Oh, and a one-handed grab from Shepard. That was just a good pluck out of the skies.
Don't see that often. You don't see that many lefty hammers, or you're not as used to it as the.
And that's probably where they weren't ready for it.
Tough to read. Pittsburgh guy
Rose
does a good job.
Almost makes up the ground, but. Today's broadcast is sponsored by Dr. John Rempel and Health Zone Chiropractic. Proud to support and provide peak performance for Ultimate in Central Indiana. Visit us online at healthzonechiro.net. That's healthzone, CHIRO.net. So after a 2-point outburst to start, the Pittsburgh has outscored the Cats 5-1 in the last 6 points. Another miscue from Cameron Brock to Plu.
This will be a big point. The AlleyCats offense has just lost all cohesion and focus that they had in that first half and coming out of in the second half. So I would guess if Pittsburgh puts this in, they're going to have to throw out a different offensive line, change things up, try to get back on track.
Yeah, like we saw in the first quarter as opposed to the second. They had trouble starting the game, and now they're having trouble. Hornemiller in for a bid, but Highsmith comes down with it.
Hornemiller, pretty good defense, but it's also a perfect throw, and can't do anything about that.
Seems like we're in a familiar place for the Cats. Pittsburgh going down 3-4 points. That's for them. I'm sure they're hoping to stem the bleeding here and get back on track a little sooner. But they have the ability, but you don't want to dig yourself too big a hole against a team like this. Looks like Ames going to field this pull. Upfield to Rick Rose, looking downfield to Plu. That could be a call there.
Penalty against Pittsburgh.
A nice bid by Demikas.
After the contact, 10 yards forward.
Oh, look at this. Yeah. Cameron Brock with a beautiful fake in.
Let's see.
Marcus Stahl looked a little frozen on that one.
Yeah, he sets him up really well. He's probably just outside the left. No, there he is. And then he goes. And when Keenan sees that, he's going to put it every time.
Believe it or not, Blake, I used to be able to do that.
Oh, yeah?
Not quite like that, but a decent impersonation.
Okay.
A much-needed point for the Cats. Stops that big run by Pittsburgh. And now it's down to this energetic, enthusiastic D-line to start getting some more breaks.
Yeah, they got to pick up the O-line like they did in the first half.
Goes right to the double team. Oh, that is perfectly executed double team. And better downfield. Oh.
A little bit of a bobble.
Janae there with the bobble, but he concentrated enough to maintain control of that disc. Today's broadcast is brought to you by the Indiana Ultimate Foundation. The IUS mission is to promote the growth and development of Ultimate at all levels in the state of Indiana. Visit them online at indianaultimatefoundation.com. BE Ultimate is putting a different spin on Ultimate apparel by focusing on high-performance fabrics, quality workmanship, and rapid turnaround time. They are Ultimate players, making Ultimate gear for the Ultimate community. Visit their website at beultimate.com. All right. See what the Cats have coming out of this timeout. They got their own line back out there as expected. Got a little bit of time off, give them time to recollect themselves.
Looks like an angled vertical stack.
Yeah, they tried this, was it the end of the third quarter or end of the half?
Wouldn't be surprised to see Joey Carey take off and then maybe Ames or Hortemiller coming for the swing.
Yeah, they brought the first cutter, they sent the first cutter deep, Ames last time, and brought the next two in.
Hopefully Pittsburgh's not listening to us so they don't pick up on this play.
True that. Ames is already moving.
Yep.
Pittsburgh gets a little tip there by Peters, but it's not enough to stop the disc. Schwartz with a nice little break, and Cameron Brock to finish it. It's going to float a bit, but the big man Hortemiller's got it. It's much better executed than that same play from earlier.
Yeah, it was big to get it off the sideline out of that double team. And once they got it over to that break side, it opened a lot of things up.
Schwartz really was smart with that disc. He had a few looks downfield, and he faked them all off and then hit the right one with Cameron Brock.
Definitely patient until something actually opened up. And, yeah, hitting Cameron Brock was big there.
Yeah, he's played pretty well after that first quarter when so many Cats didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been really smart and contained with the disc. And they cut and put a little extra in that one. All the way past the goal line, 5 yards deep.
Looks to be a little bit of a zone. Defenders behind the handler defense are kind of playing 15, 20 yards off.
3 Pittsburgh, and almost 4 Pittsburgh for a second players back. Now the Cats are adjusting.
I'm sure they're going to fire out of this soon. Got to go man soon.
See if Brandenburg's going to take No, he doesn't have anything deep. It's that big angle. He swing, and then Earl's looking for something. Just goes to the easy swing over. And as Cats try to come out of that zone here and settle back in. And that's Shepard again. It's just well played by Pittsburgh there to kind of take advantage of that zone. Cats could never quite get it settled on.
Yeah, they're definitely patient here, waiting until they found somebody in good footwork at the end. Get 1 foot in as he's catching the disc.
For sure. 24-22 now. Pittsburgh up, 2 minutes, 16 seconds left in the third. Important for the Cats to stay in. The offense had a nice finish to that last possession. Let's see if they can stay within the game here and work it up. Good look off by Cox. Well, this is the O-line they've been going through with most of the night. Cox looking for help. Flips a little bit to Plew. He's got good position. But D'Amicis, the Diesel, making the D.
A little bit of contact in the end zone. I don't think Keenan was too happy about the no call. But that would have been a tough call if it went against Pittsburgh, if I'm being impartial. Yeah,
and it's hard for this angle to see how much contact there was.
Yeah.
But, Keenan had pretty good position. And that was a punt, as we call it. Well, D'Amicis makes a good run at it. A much needed turnover for the O. It's a good mark there. Good downfield D that forced the high count punt. 1 minute left here. Let's see what the AlleyCats can do. Oh, Cameron sort of, I don't think it was tipped, but it kind of wobbled right out of his hand.
Yeah, it definitely didn't come out smoothly.
Big swing over to Ogren. And Mogielski brings it down. Go back up 3 points, 25-22. Got 30 seconds left on the clock.
Really good break throw by John Mast from the center of the field. It's tough, getting around that mark and getting to the break side.
Great IO forehand.
Yeah. Turnover by Cameron Brock, I think, was because of a high stall count. He didn't have many options. So it came out quickly, a little wobbly, and right to a defender. That's one of those kind of coverage Ds where he doesn't have a good option, so it looks bad on him, but it was probably just really good defense by all the Pittsburgh players.
Yeah, it seems like an inordinate amount of high stall counts. You don't see that a lot, but there's been 4 or so in the last 15 minutes or so of play. This game happened so fast, as we're seeing here. Rick Gross moving it down the field. Cameron Brock. A little bit of contact there. That's a call.
Double foul.
A double foul. So the ref calling it as contact was created by both sides. We got 14 seconds left here. See what the Cats can do.
This is a tough one that Keenan comes down with, makes it look easy. Ooh.
Oh, a real nice grab by Hordemiller.
One of those ill-advised hammers we've been talking about. But, yeah, Hortemiller, when you've got a receiver like that and you can come down with it, then he makes you look good.
Yeah, bad ideas aren't so bad when they get caught.
It's one way of looking at it, yeah.
And again, that's knowing your target, knowing you got the height matchup, the mismatch there. Although Highsmith is more than capable to get up and make those plays. He was a little back on his heels, it looked like, and Hortemiller was just a little more ready for that. Kind of like we saw a hammer on Joey Carey earlier when he was scrambling to get back after a turnover, and the offense was a little more waiting for it.
Yep.
So 6.4 seconds left. We'll see if Pittsburgh can do anything with this in a little bit of time.
Seems like
that's
the Cats
going to go out of bounds. It lands just out of bounds.
Cats have abandoned that rolling pull, but they've still had a few that have landed out of bounds.
Yeah, I haven't seen that for quite a while. And we'll see here that the clock will start on the very first completion, so not on the whistle. And he just goes straight away. A big mismatch here. And they come down with it again.
Oh, wow. I thought looked like Rick Gross had it in his hand and it may have been stripped out. I don't think the referee probably had the same vantage point that we did.
That's certainly what he's trying to call.
No strip call. Pittsburgh scores.
So Rick Gross
again
goes up.
Rick Gross. He's right there. Oh, boy.
Yeah, and he pulls it right out of his hand. I think that's a missed call by the referee.
The referee's right there.
Yeah, looked like Rick had that in his hand. I can see why he's upset about it.
Well, and here's a little bit better close-up. See Rick's black glove hand go up. That's a tough one to call either way. Maybe in some situations a tie goes to the offense.
That could be it, yeah.
But Rick had really nice position. And now that is every single jump ball, late clock, they've won down there, Blake.
Yeah, no, that's big because it's kind of a momentum shift at the end of the quarter.
Okay, well, that ends the quarter. Another jump ball for Pittsburgh, and take a very short break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Adam. And all my life, I've been considered a pretty lucky guy.
I'm House.
Ah, thanks. For starters, I get upgrades everywhere I go. And I just win things like all the time.
And the winner is this guy.
But you're not this lucky. No one is. So talk to a Farm Bureau agent today, because when it comes to your coverage, luck should have nothing to do with it.
All right, well, Cats have a challenge in front of them. They've built their wall, and now they have to tear it down. A lot of self-inflicted mistakes, obviously, they've made. They've given some discs away. What do you think their mindset is, Blake, to get inside their heads a bit?
Well, even within this game, they've been down by more than 3, and they've come back pretty quickly. So they need to take care of business on offense right here, and then let their defensive players loose and try to get a few breaks in a row after this.
Sticking with, I think, pretty much the same O lineup as they've had. And Ames is a little stuck here. He gets a nice break off to Schwartz, down to Horty Miller. And then that's the right kind of throw they needed. Got it downfield enough. You got to use Keenan Plu's speed. You don't throw it to him. You throw it way out in front of him and let him run to it.
Yeah, that was a really good throw by Ames and a high stall count to get it all the way across the field. And then when Hordmiller
sees... Great breakthrough, because that was a very high count there. That had to be about 6.5.
Yep. And, yeah, that throw by Hordmiller across the field was what we talked about earlier. It had to be out in front in 2 space so they could run onto it rather than throwing a jump ball to somebody like Keenan who will not win many height matchups.
Right. He can get up pretty well for a little guy, but it's not what you want him to have to play, because he can outrun just about anybody, even being an old guy like he is, in his 30s now. Recent birthday for him. All right, Brennenberg off the pole. Fedorenko making a big cut out of the middle. Oh, close to a travel, but he maintains his contact there. Beardsley looking for help, back to the middle. Fedorenko winding up, letting one go. That might be too much. The slap shot from the big fella not getting there.
Needed just a little bit more touch to allow him to run onto it.
Oh, that is luckily not a big collision, because Granholm could have easily laid out for that, and that would have been ugly. Beardsley with a nice D. Earls has had some great throws tonight. Not just his big hucks, but he likes those big hammer swings. And no, fella can't get there.
Another hammer.
Another hammer. Oh, Rick Gross just misreads it a bit. Had a good read on it, a good beat on it, but Beardsley for the score again. That puts Pittsburgh up 3, 27-24 with 10:16 left to go. And for the Cats, sticking with similar lineup again. They're going with the horse that brought them here. You wonder if there's perchance a fatigue element. And we'll see how they finish this quarter. Got kind of a small rotation lately on that O-line. There's a nice bid there by Ogren there on Brock. Pittsburgh balling up the deep pretty well here. Horty a little quick on the release there. Pittsburgh taking their time to let their guys set up downfield. Hammond's into the corner. A little slipperoo.
Guessing that's a receiver travel. He'll probably walk it back 10 yards.
No. Not a receiver travel.
O-line's got to, for the Cats, has got to really get it done here and get this turnover.
Yeah, the coach from Pittsburgh didn't like what he was seeing. Wasn't much happening downfield, and the handlers were resetting, so he calls a timeout.
And unfortunately for Pittsburgh, that's their last timeout. Discstore.com is a proud supporter and sponsor of this broadcast. Pick up your next disc from Discstore.com. Discstore.com provides the best prices on team jerseys, guaranteed. Ask about the AUDL discount at Discstore.com. Don't just hope you're covered. When it comes to your coverage, luck should have nothing to do with it. Talk to Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance today. Visit infarmbureau.com for a free auto quote or to find your local Indianapolis area agent. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. All right, well, I sense a little apprehension as there's some nice fireworks going off nearby here. Apprehension on the fans' sense that, the Cats got to get something done here. 9 minutes left and 3 points down, and a big stop here.
Looks like Earls will be bringing in the disc. He's been dangerous every time with it in his hands.
Yeah, they usually like to make him the first cut, so we'll see what he can do. He fakes that lefty hammer, and then he gets it off to Brandenburg right away. Back to Earls. Oh, and
bit of a miscommunication there.
is that Fedorenko getting lost? Yeah, in the shuffle.
So it looks like defense gets mixed up here on who's actually going to set the mark and who's going to continue.
Yeah. Yeah, they pretty much just ran a wrecking crew there. And it's just those three handlers. The guys in back didn't do anything. Today's broadcast is sponsored by Dr. John Rempel and Health Zone Chiropractic. Proud to support and provide peak performance for Ultimate in Central Indiana. Visit us online at healthzonechiro.net. That's healthzone, CHIRO.net. Fans starting up the chant of Crazy Bread, which for times past, when the AlleyCats hit 25, they used to give out free Crazy Bread. And this goal right now, Blake, is very important. So whether you get Crazy Bread or not, they need this goal right now.
That's true. Aaron Schwartz makes a pretty good cut to get open as Ames streaks deep.
Good flow to start the point here for the Cats. Get bottled up a bit there.
Still in a vertical stack downfield.
Needs to float a little bit, and the forehand from Hortemiller falls just a little bit short, just sunk too quickly. Cameron Brock not able to get to it. Pittsburgh resumes their march downfield. Oh, and a nice double team. Brock helps out there. Not sure if that was a hand block or not. Oh, and Cox on a scuba throw attempt. Gives it right back. The D here is a little unsorted. Unmarked throw there. And that is not what the home team was looking for there. They look out of sorts there, Blake.
Yeah.
What do you think's going on in their heads right now?
So they're kind of on tilt right now. Kyle Cox saw Aaron Schwartz in the back of the end zone. And he had his hand up, and he wanted to get to him quickly, but he tried to go for kind of a cheeky scooper over the top, but it ended up that there was a defender right there. So it was just rushing things. I'd expect right now that
they're switching up the line up a little bit. Levi Jacobs is in. Peter Carlton is in. Well, that O-line has got to be Nick Hutton's in too. Rick Gross, I think. Yeah, that O-line was getting tired, and then they weren't executing.
Yep. So they're at the point where they can't have any more offensive breaks given up, and they their defense almost has to play a perfect game the rest of the way to catch up.
On a 12-7 run this half is Pittsburgh, or this quarter, that is. See if this new blood injected at the O-line can get something done. Keenan with a nice one-handed grab with Diamikas all over him. And there is the goal to Levi Jacobs.
As we talked about earlier, Rick Gross has really developed his throws. He came in as an athlete who impressed people with his highlight catches and his great D, but now he's an all-around player who can make those types of throws, who can finish points with his throwing ability rather than just his legs.
Right. He's not just a kid now that jumps out of the gym every time. He's filling out his game. It's not unlike Cameron Brock. Some years ago, he's known as an athlete on the field. He's becoming more. He's been now an all-around player. That's why you see his stats as they are. But AlleyCats need more than just one player doing it.
Yep.
Right now, D-line looking for a big break and stuff and score, as they call it.
I think Pittsburgh's going to be content with just throwing it around a little bit, wasting some time. They're not going to be...
Right, I noticed that horizontal handler stack, what they haven't really done. Just 3 guys across, and...
They're in no rush to throw it down the field or go for any risky throws.
Yeah, but again, big difference between the AUDL and USAU Ultimate. There's no clock to be your friend in USAU. Except caps, of course.
Yeah, AlleyCats need to start putting some pressure. Probably go under on the cutters and then no reset on the handler defense.
Because Pittsburgh's not going to be looking deep unless there's a wide open guy. So this is the time. Yeah, I agree. When you got to start fronting. A little risky throw there from Earls, but makes it again to Vats. I don't think they've thrown it downfield much more than that one right there. Miles fakes that hammer.
Yeah, when he's looking off hammer throws, then it must be that it was a coach's decision to play conservatively and just use up the clock.
Which was a wise course of action for them now, being up 4 with 5.5 minutes to go. Great bid attempt by Spencer Loskar there.
I think when this point started, we were around 7 minutes, just over 7 minutes. And
it's now almost 2 minutes into that point.
Yep.
So, like you said, they're just milking this clock like old Bessie the cow. A pretty nice throw by Brennenberg. Break swing.
Yeah, it's interesting that the handler D is not really pressuring any of the resets. I'm going to make it harder on them if they want a chance to come back.
We're over 2.5 minutes into the point. And Vats gets lost in the shuffle there, and well, I tell you what, if they're trying to make a show and setting up the dramatic finale, the AlleyCats are doing it because they're down 5 with just 4:14 to go.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, especially when the offense has just proven that they can go for 3 minutes on 1 point.
Yeah.
There's got to be an adjustment on the sideline to give up the deep shot and pressure the resets if you want any chance of getting some sort of turnover, especially when they're playing like that.
Let's see, we got out on the kind of a mix of their 0-1 line and a couple extras with Rick Gross and Peter Carlton. And Kyle Cox. Now them, on the other hand, they're not able to take that much time to score, so it looks like a huck from Gross and Plew gets tied up with think Diamikis and not sure who else where that was, but it's something that you kind of expected to take the first decent deep look because they just don't have the time, but it doesn't end well for the Cats there.
It'll be interesting to see if Pittsburgh's D-line can now mimic the offensive line and just kind of waste time, which it looks like they're content with doing.
Yeah, they're certainly happy to throw those reverse dumps for 20 yards if they have to. Oh, surprising. Oh, Rick Gross getting there in time. But the surprising choice by Eddie Peters there.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what he was thinking.
Well, that's why some people are on the D-line.
That's
and
definitely true.
Some people are not. Keenan Plew with, you know what, just a missed opportunity there with a streaking Ames.
He needed to flatten that one out and float it to space and came out kind of blading and not enough time for Ames to react.
Yeah, how many times we see Keenan Plew connect easily on that throw. That one just came out a little too much hyzer on it, almost too much angle. Easy throws the hammer out of the double team.
I think conditioning and legs are starting to become evident. The Cats are kind of trailing every offensive player.
Yeah, in spite of them having the night off last night and you could argue Pittsburgh had the night off too last night with their big win in Detroit. But there's another one, and I think in the background I hear the bus warming up. Or is that the fat lady singing? Starting to.
It's one of those two.
2 minutes left. AlleyCats down 6, 31-25.
Just need a point every less than 30 seconds. No, not even that. It's got to be quicker than that.
Yeah,
every 20 seconds.
Dropped a few poles, and we stuff and score like that. We'll take that. Well, give credit to the fans. Most everyone's staying in their seats. They want to see this one out and support their home team. As we can feel the walls shake to the fireworks going off nearby. It looks like Pittsburgh brought a little more bang to this night than the Cats did. Kind of risky floaty throw to beat the double team there by Plew. Gets it back. Big swing over to Ames. Levi Jacobs needs to make that throw there. He does wisely. Well delivered. That was more of our the typical offense for the Cats there. Better spacing. Levi making a nice forehand shot to Cameron Brock. Today's broadcast is brought to you by the Indiana Ultimate Foundation. The IUS mission is to promote the growth and development of Ultimate at all levels in the state of Indiana. Visit them online at indianaultimatefoundation.com. All right, that makes it a 5-point game with a minute and a half left. Blake, you have to wonder if they had switched up this lineup, the O squad, a little bit more earlier, as they had in the second quarter. They went with that same O line for quite a while in the second half again, and with the injection of Rick Gross and Levi Jacobs, sort of help them out, and I think they were that one O line was possibly a bit fatigued.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the case. It's hard to know when the right time to switch that up is, because if something's working, you want to stay with it, and then suddenly it stops working, and you don't want to go away from it right away. You want to give it at least a few opportunities, and I think that's what they did. And it just ended up being that Pittsburgh was able to take advantage of it in a few simple mistakes, miscues.
It's not an enviable task of a head coach to have to make those decisions. Obviously, that 1-0 line has done a lot of good things for a long time.
Yeah.
For the Cats here. So they've turned it around plenty of times. Just like they came up a bit short now as we wind it down. 15 seconds to go.
I think Pittsburgh will be content with running out the clock.
Yeah, maybe one last blast here, but there's really no reason to. Spencer lost car deep, and game ends there. 31-26 is your final score. Pittsburgh visiting team wins. Been a good weekend for them. Two wins, 2 days. And a heartbreaker for the local Indianapolis AlleyCats. Now they're going to need some help from other teams to be able to make it into the playoffs at all now.
Yeah, I don't think they control their own destiny anymore. So it looks like Pittsburgh has secured a spot, and they'll be fighting with the Minnesota wind chill. Minnesota holds the tiebreaker with the AlleyCats, so if they finish with the same record, then Minnesota will make it into the playoffs, and the AlleyCats won't. That was on because of the 2 losses earlier in the season by 1 point. So it's tough that games that early in the season will probably be a deciding factor, but that's why you play the games.
Interesting scenario. The fact that Minnesota's last game is at Pittsburgh, I think. So, Pittsburgh might be in a situation where they don't have to play that last game. They might be resting their guys. So, obviously, the Cats are going to need Minnesota to lose that one. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, the Cats' last game will be against Madison, a team they've never beaten before, so that'll be a tall task as well. Yeah, tough position for the Cats. They knew they needed to win this one to be certain.
Yeah, we knew it going in. We talked about it going in. You want to secure yourself now, secure a spot now, and not have to rely on what happens next weekend against a rather formidable opponent. All right, well, let's take a look at our friction cats of the game as we see the... Can't quite tell what they're doing yet.
It's kind of morphed back into a vertical stack.
Rick and he later converts that for a score, I believe. So real nicely done, Rick. That was our friction catch of the game. Friction gloves help your throws and catches in all conditions. To find out more information and get a pair, visit frictiongloves.com. All right, Blake. Well, yeah, we talked about it. That's a real tough loss for the AlleyCats. I don't really want to be in that locker room after. It's going to be a quiet one. And opposed to that, you see the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds taking a victory lap, well earned, and they're going to have a fun ride back home for themselves tonight.
Yeah, it's going to sting for a little while for the Cats. Nothing's final yet, but this definitely hurts their chances of making the playoffs. That'll be 2 years in a row that they've been on the outside looking in, and they know that with all of the close games that they've had throughout the year, with the 1 point losses, with this opportunity that they had tonight, that they had their chances, and that and it's almost worse than never having a chance like some of the other teams in this division. They've been close, and they just haven't been able to to finish it out.
Yeah, when you get the taste of it, you get that close. I agree. It's those close losses like this when you're in the driver's seat and you gave up that hard fought position. But I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood. Health Zone Chiropractic. Enter the zone of peak performance and all-around great health. Distor, offering the best service and best price on ultimate gear, guaranteed. Friction Gloves, helping your throws and catches in all conditions. Indiana Ultimate Foundation, supporting Ultimate at all levels in the state of Indiana. BE Ultimate, Ultimate players making Ultimate gear for the Ultimate community. And most importantly, your Indianapolis AlleyCats. Well, that'll do it for us here at Roncalli High School Stadium. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and thanks for watching all season long. It's been a fun time for us doing this up here, especially with Heath Shanahan running such a great show. Thank him for his efforts, and Universe Point Productions. Also, I'd like to thank Caleb Hills and Nevin Marktan for great camera work. And my colleague Blake Vanderbush. That's us signing out for tonight. Have a happy and safe 4th of July as well. We'll see you next game, AUDL Nation.